Today we are going to talk about these topics. Number 1. Getting your message across with good rapport. Number 2. Conquering fear. Number 3. Champagne corks are popping to celebrate your promotion. Number 4. Delivering a speech, maintain eye contact. Number 5. Narcissistic leaders. Number 1. I bet you have had times when you have walked into a shop and felt immediately welcome. I'm also pretty sure that you've had occasions where you felt just the opposite. What was the difference? What happened in the place that created that welcome feeling within you? Maybe the assistant noticed you entering and offered you a smile and said hello. They are telling you that you are welcome in their space both physically and mentally. Compare this with a shop where you were completely ignored until you went to pay for something. What message are you getting there? What is rapport? Rapport is the art of being in tune with the people around you. Good rapport will enable you to let others know that you are interested in them, that you care about what they have to say and are keen to understand them. It sends them a message that there is common ground and creates a sense of consideration, respect and trust. Good rapport lies at the heart of your effective communication. It enables you to get people's attention and for them to take on board what you have to say. Good rapport comes from body language and how you say things through the tonality and rhythm of your voice. Together, body language and how you say your words make up 93% of your communication. What you say is only 7%. Of course, when interacting with others, our communication can be nonverbal using just our body language. How are you communicating right now? I'm sure that you have experienced a situation where within a group of people one person makes a suggestion and you just know that others don't agree, even if they remain silent. What tells you that they don't agree and feel comfortable with the suggestion? Those of you who are in agreement will probably be sharing the same body language. They may be more animated in the discussion, and as such will be actively buying into the idea. Those that disagree can do so without having to say or do a thing. All they need to do is withdraw their rapport in some way. Maybe though pulling back in their seat, crossing their arms, closing their book or leaving the room. Maybe, through all those things if they really wanted to make a point. So, assuming that we have some words to say, how can we maximize our tonality and body language to ensure that we have good rapport when saying them? How to get into rapport with people. Matching and mirroring are the two main ways to establish rapport. People that are in rapport have a certain rhythm to their voice and body movements. Voice tonality and rhythm. This is 38% of your communication. The tone of your voice and the pace that you talk affects the message that you are trying to portray. People use different tones and speeds when talking. Do your best to adjust your voice to come closer to their way of talking. Try it yourself. Say something cheerful in a sad voice and see how it comes across. Then switch it around and say something sad in an upbeat voice. What message are you receiving in each case? What about when someone is talking to you and you are distracted by something else, maybe something you see? Does your voice respond in an interested manner, and does your body language bear this out? Body language. How you hold and use your body makes up 55% of your communication. Use your body to match people's body movements. There will be a certain pattern and rhythm to their movements that you can copy. It's wise to pay attention to this even if you have good intentions for doing otherwise. You could easily be misinterpreted. How about if that shop assistant smiles and says hello but without looking at you? Does that feel the same? Maybe she was preparing next week's stock. What if two assistants are chatting while you are in their shop even whilst politely serving you? Does a rapport exist between them or between you and them? What if in a work environment you ask somebody to do something for you and they agree quite nicely but you can see them tense up or see their body sink slightly lower in their chair? Are they really happy to do this for you or are speech and body telling different stories? All together now. The next time you communicate, think about rapport a little. Is it good or not? What makes it good? How could you use your body language and voice to improve rapport? And stick with it. It can seem odd at times whilst you practice, but when it becomes second nature you'll become a more natural communicator. Number 2. What really keeps you from living your dreams? What problem is most dominant in people's lives? The answer is fear. People live every day in fear. Fear of losing their wealth, fear of losing their loved ones, fear of making the wrong decisions, fear of being themselves, fear of growing up, fear of making a commitment. The list goes on and on. The leading cause of people not fulfilling their dreams is not the fear of failure, it's the fear of success. The fear of actually accomplishing what they set out to do. The fear of living life to the fullest may have paralyzed you. This will cause you to never really try in your business, or if you do try, to sabotage your efforts so you never have to face your fear of success. Most people live their lives in the grip of this fear, and they aren't even aware that it has control over them. The fear is the one thing that can turn your dreams of financial freedom, loving relationships, and a fulfilling and significant life into a pattern of habits including procrastination, self-sabotage and other bad habits. Fear is a dominant problem in your life today. The two questions you need to answer to conquer your fear are, which fear has the most control over your behavior? Is it the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of success, or is it all of them? How do I interrupt the bad habits that I have developed as a means of protection from this fear? How do I interrupt the programming I have within me? These are the two most significant questions when it comes to overcoming your fears. If you can answer these two questions, your life will forever change. The reality of fear is that it is human and is a part of life. It's not going to go away. Some fear is even healthy. It is a gift given to you to keep you safe and bring you closer to your Creator. Every person is born with 3 instinctive fears. These are fear of falling, fear of loud noises, and fear of abandonment. These 3 fears were given to you to help you monitor what is going on around you. Think about it. It is fear that gives you the adrenaline rush that makes you escape from a situation that is really, truly unsafe. It also gives you the same rush that causes you to fight to win. Faith is born in fear. God knew in His infinite wisdom that fear is what would drive His people back to Him. Although sometimes it is only in times of extreme fear that we look to God and choose Him. Take a look at your own life and think about the times you looked to God for His power and wisdom. Those were probably times of extreme fear. True faith is born from fear. So what caused the gift of fear to be the #1 problem in society today? Why do people let fear control their actions, beliefs and lives? The answer is the difference between reacting to fear and acting in fear. It has everything to do with your belief system. Children typically react instinctively to fear, which is appropriate behavior at this age. Most adults don't make the distinction between reacting to fear, as when they were a child, and acting with their intellect when dealing with fear. People react instinctively to fear by either denying it or running away from it. They miss the power that comes from acting with their intellect, never allowing the fear to become the gift it was intended to be. Learn to act with your intellect by exposing your true fears and the beliefs they represent and free yourself so you can move on with all you are meant to do, have and become. 3. Many people are stuck in dead-end jobs, resentful that they are passed over for promotion. They know they are capable of more, but something is holding them back. You want to succeed, what should you do? The first thing to understand is that if you do nothing differently then nothing will change. In order for anything to be possible you have to take action. Secondly, you have to start by looking at yourself rather than blaming your position on others. Be honest with yourself. Close your eyes, see yourself at work as others see you. Over the next few days at work listen to yourself and consider how you act. Do you behave like promotion material? Sit down quietly and write your own reference based on how you actually perform now. Include a comment on your work habits, timekeeping, reliability, ability to get the job done, attention to detail, accuracy, how you manage under pressure. Think about your ability to work as part of a team, how you get on with colleagues and customers or clients, your communication skills. Are you a problem finder or a solution provider? Do you moan about things or deal with them in a constructive and helpful way? Do you do just enough to get by or take a pride in a job well done? Are you enthusiastic, loyal and committed? What skills have you to offer? The third step is to think about the job you would like to do. What sort of person does it need? Think about the personal skills and characteristics you would look for if you were on the appointment panel. Make a list under the following headings: personal characteristics, skills, knowledge and experience. Compare your reference with the job specification you have created. Think carefully, would you honestly recommend yourself without reservation for promotion? Are there any areas you need to improve or develop? Have you got enough experience? Where are the gaps? What do you need to do to ensure you have what it takes? Fourthly, identify your goals and when you want to achieve them by. Make your goals realistic but challenging. Work out a daily program to achieve your goals. Talk about them to others, make them real and make them happen. Remember to celebrate your achievements. If things go wrong, remember that it happens to successful people too. They don't give up but use each failure as an opportunity to learn and develop. Make sure you model promotion-worthy behaviors. It may help you if you think about those people you know who are good role models, or about what makes the ideal boss. Think about what makes them good. Make a list of their attributes in-house promotion or a job elsewhere. Either way, you will need a reference, so the opinion of those you currently work for will count. The fifth step is to make an appointment to see your boss. Make it at a time convenient to them, when they can concentrate on your agenda. Prepare what you want to say. I am really keen to develop my career. What do you think I need to do to be ready for promotion? Listen to the feedback with an open mind. Ask for support and training in the areas where development is needed. Show them your action plan and involve them in the process. Be honest in your dealings with yourself and others. Know your strengths and face your weaknesses. Believe in yourself and others will believe in you. Take charge of your own destiny and the possibilities are endless. Number 4. Body language is very important when delivering a speech. Have you ever seen our great leaders fidget or make unnecessary movements while addressing the nation? Since you are the center of attention while making the presentation, you should mind every move that you make so as not to bore or distract the people listening to your speech. So you already have a speech prepared, you know the topic well, and you are now standing in front of the audience. They are in for a treat because you have prepared a great presentation, yet you also know that they have a very short attention span. How would you keep them interested with what you are saying? The answer is to maintain eye contact. This is one public speaking technique that great speakers use when addressing a large group of people. Here are some tips on how you can use this trick to keep your audience interested while delivering a speech. Once you have already started speaking and have delivered your introduction, take a look at your audience. Do not be nervous if you see one or two people frowning, as you are not sure of exactly what they are thinking. Instead of looking out for unfriendly or blank faces, search for the people who are smiling and nodding their heads. Try to focus on this person for a couple of minutes and look him or her in the eye. This way, you would have an immediate friend in the audience to whom you can look at and gain confidence from. This will not just increase your confidence, but also relax you in the course of your speech. Gaze steadily at your audience, moving from one part of the room to another. This way, you would immediately grasp their attention. Never read your speech. Just make an outline of the important points that you can expand on. If you have visuals, do not read the bullet points word for word, as this might imply that your audience cannot read them themselves. With this, you are instantly creating a bond with your audience as a speaker, since you do not have to keep on looking at your notes through the course of your speech. The key to delivering a great speech is to just breathe, relax, and make eye-to-eye contact with your audience. Thus, you are not just making a physical connection with them, but you are also ensured that you come out as a sincere speaker who wants to inform and interact with the audience through your speech. Number 5. It was precisely that evening in Lodi that I came to believe in myself as an unusual person and became consumed with the ambition to do the great things that until then had been but a fantasy. They may all be called heroes, inasmuch as they have derived their purposes and their vocation not from the calm regular course of things, sanctioned by the existing order, but from a concealed found, from that inner spirit, still hidden beneath the surface, which impinges on the outer world as a shell and bursts it into pieces. Such were Alexander, Caesar, Napoleon. World historical men, the heroes of an epoch, must therefore be recognized as its clear-sighted ones. Their deeds, their words are the best of their time. Moral claims which are irrelevant must not be brought into collision with world historical deeds. So mighty a form must trample down many an innocent flower, crush to pieces many an object in its path. Such beings are incalculable, they come like fate without cause or reason, inconsiderately and without pretext. Suddenly they are here like lightning, too terrible, too sudden, too compelling, and too different even to be hated. What moves them is the terrible egotism of the artist of the brazen glance, who knows himself to be justified for all eternity in his work as the mother is justified in her child. In all great deceivers a remarkable process is at work to which they owe their power. In the very act of deception with all its preparations, the dreadful voice, expression, and gestures, they are overcome by their belief in themselves. It is this belief which then speaks, so persuasively, so miracle-like, to the audience. He knows not how to rule a kingdom, that cannot manage a province. Nor can he wield a province that cannot order a city, nor he order a city that knows not how to regulate a village, nor he a village that cannot guide a family, nor can that man govern well a family that knows not how to govern himself. Neither can any govern himself unless his reason be lord, will and appetite her vassals. Nor can reason rule unless herself be ruled by God, and be obedient to him. The narcissistic leader is the culmination and reification of his period, culture, and civilization. He is likely to rise to prominence in narcissistic societies. The malignant narcissist invents and then projects a false, fictitious, self for the world to fear, or to admire. He maintains a tenuous grasp on reality to start with, and this is further exacerbated by the trappings of power. The narcissist's grandiose self-delusions and fantasies of omnipotence and omniscience are supported by real-life authority and the narcissist's predilection to surround himself with obsequious sycophants. The narcissist's personality is so precariously balanced that he cannot tolerate even a hint of criticism and disagreement. Most narcissists are paranoid and suffer from ideas of reference. Thus, narcissists often regard themselves as victims of persecution. The narcissistic leader fosters and encourages a personality cult with all the hallmarks of an institutional religion: priesthood, rites, rituals, temples, worship, catechism, mythology. The leader is this religion's ascetic saint. He monastically denies himself earthly pleasures in order to be able to dedicate himself fully to his calling. The narcissistic leader is a monstrously inverted Jesus, sacrificing his life and denying himself so that his people, or humanity at large, should benefit. By surpassing and suppressing his humanity, the narcissistic leader became a distorted version of Nietzsche's Superman. But being a human or superhuman also means being asexual and immoral. In this restricted sense, narcissistic leaders are postmodernist and moral relativists. They project to the masses an androgynous figure and enhance it by engendering the adoration of nudity and all things natural, or by strongly repressing these feelings. But what they refer to as nature is not natural at all. The narcissistic leader invariably proffers an aesthetic of decadence and evil, carefully orchestrated and artificial, though it is not perceived this way by him or by his followers. Narcissistic leadership is about reproduced copies, not about originals. It is about the manipulation of symbols, not about veritable atavism or true conservatism. In short, narcissistic leadership is about theater, not about life. To enjoy the spectacle, the leader demands the suspension of judgment, depersonalization, and derealization. Catharsis is tantamount, in this narcissistic dramaturgy, to self-annulment. Narcissism is nihilistic not only operationally, or ideologically. Its very language and narratives are nihilistic. Narcissism is conspicuous nihilism, and the cult's leader serves as a role model, annihilating the man, only to reappear as a preordained and irresistible force of nature. Narcissistic leadership often poses as a rebellion against the old ways, against the hegemonic culture, the upper classes, the established religions, the superpowers, the corrupt order. Narcissistic movements are puerile, a reaction to narcissistic injuries inflicted upon a narcissistic toddler nation state, or group, or upon the leader. Minorities or others, often arbitrarily selected, constitute a perfect, easily identifiable, embodiment of all that is wrong. They are accused of being old, they are eerily disembodied, they are cosmopolitan, they are part of the establishment, they are decadent, they are hated on religious and socio-economic grounds, or because of their race, sexual orientation, origin. They are different, they are narcissistic, they are everywhere, they are defenseless, they are credulous, they are adaptable. They are the perfect hate figure. Narcissists thrive on hatred and pathological envy. This is precisely the source of the fascination with Hitler, diagnosed by Erich Fromm, together with Stalin, as a malignant narcissist. He was an inverted human. His unconscious was his conscious. He acted out our most repressed drives, fantasies, and wishes. He provides us with a glimpse of the horrors that lie beneath the veneer, the barbarians at our personal gates, and what it was like before we invented civilization. Hitler forced us all through a time warp, and many did not emerge. He was not the devil. He was one of us. He was what Arendt aptly called the banality of evil. Just an ordinary, mentally disturbed, failure, a member of a mentally disturbed and failing nation, who lived through disturbed and failing times. He was the perfect mirror, a channel, a voice, and the very depth of our souls. The narcissistic leader prefers the sparkle and glamour of well-orchestrated illusions to the tedium and method of real accomplishments. His reign is all smoke and mirrors, devoid of substances, consisting of mere appearances and masked illusions. In the aftermath of his regime, the narcissistic leader having died, been deposed, or voted out of office, it all unravels. The tireless and constant prestidigitation ceases, and the entire edifice crumbles. What looked like an economic miracle turns out to have been a fraud-laced bubble. Loosely held empires disintegrate. Laboriously assembled business conglomerates go to pieces. Earth-shattering and revolutionary scientific discoveries and theories are discredited. Social experiments end in mayhem. It is important to understand that the use of violence must be egosyntonic. It must accord with the self-image of the narcissist. It must abet and sustain his grandiose fantasies and feed his sense of entitlement. It must conform with the narcissistic narrative. Thus, a narcissist who regards himself as the benefactor of the poor, a member of the common folk, the representative of the disenfranchised, the champion of the dispossessed against the corrupt elite, is highly unlikely to use violence at first. The Pacific mask crumbles when the narcissist has become convinced that the very people he purported to speak for, his constituency, his grassroots fans, the prime sources of his narcissistic supply, have turned against him. At first, in a desperate effort to maintain the fiction underlying his chaotic personality, the narcissist strives to explain away the sudden reversal of sentiment. The people are being duped by, they don't really know what they are doing, following a rude awakening, they will revert to form, etc. When these flimsy attempts to patch a tattered personal mythology fail, the narcissist is injured. Narcissistic injury inevitably leads to narcissistic rage and to a terrifying display of unbridled aggression. The pent-up frustration and hurt translate into devaluation. That which was previously idealized, is now discarded with contempt and hatred. This primitive defense mechanism is called splitting. To the narcissist, things and people are either entirely bad or entirely good. He projects onto others his own shortcomings and negative emotions, thus becoming a totally good object. A narcissistic leader is likely to justify the butchering of his own people by claiming that they intended to kill him, undo the revolution, devastate the economy, or the country, etc. The small people, the rank and file, the loyal soldiers of the narcissist, his flock, his nation, his employees, they pay the price. The disillusionment and disenchantment are agonizing. The process of reconstruction, of rising from the ashes, of overcoming the trauma of having been deceived, exploited and manipulated, is drawn out. It is difficult to trust again, to have faith, to love, to be led, to collaborate. Feelings of shame and guilt engulf the erstwhile followers of the narcissist. This is his sole legacy, a massive post-traumatic stress disorder.